They say that 93% of communication is nonverbal. They also say that 70% of quoted statistics are made up on the spot. But in any case, the nonverbals of attracting women are hugely important. So let's talk about them. Probably the most annoying comments I get on almost every one of my videos is somebody says, bro, I don't need these lines. I just use my body language and she's attracted to me from that. Okay, body language is important, but imagine walking up to a girl in line at Starbucks and trying to body language her into bed with some alpha pose. It doesn't make sense, right? You can't do body language by itself. Body language is a part of the whole of game, right? So there's a congruence. Your words go along with your tone of voice, which go along with your body language, which goes along with your eye contact. And if it's all in alignment and it's all good, you are very, very attractive. If any one of them is off, you look incongruent and possibly unattractive. If they're all off, you definitely look unattractive. So body language is a piece of the whole, but it is a very important piece of the whole. So with that in mind, it's very hard to imagine great body language attracting a girl by herself. However, it's very easy to imagine bad body language immediately turning a girl off. And so what we're trying to do with body language is mainly just make it good. Just make it congruent and make it not a hindrance to everything else that you're doing. And what is good body language? For the most part, good body language is you acting the way you would around your good friends who you're comfortable with. Or maybe better yet, you acting the way you would around a girl who already likes you and you know it, and you're relaxed and you're confident, right? So that's what good body language is for the most part, is relaxed and confident. Now you could go very wrong in two different ways. And there's basically two different types of guys that have bad body language. On one side, you have shy guy, the guy who's afraid to take up any space, either with his voice or with his body. He looks timid. He looks unassuming. He looks like he's just hoping you won't pick on him. On the other hand, you have cocky guy that's a little too over the top and taking up too much space and kind of overcompensating. And both of these forms of body language, even though they seem drastically different, are actually coming from the same place, which is a place of insecurity, right? Shy guy is basically saying please don't notice me and don't give me any negative emotions or anything to be afraid of. Cocky guy is saying yeah, come at me, but if you do, you're going to pick on the body language, which is this persona I'm putting on, rather than picking on the underlying me, right? So shy guy is saying please don't pick on me. Cocky guy is saying yeah, pick on my persona, but don't pick on the real me. Either one, though, is not attractive guy. Attractive guy is in the middle. Attractive guy is confident and relaxed. And that's what we're going for with everything that is body language. So ironically, the best way to explain good body language is probably to explain and show examples of bad body language. Because once you see what behaviors you want to avoid, you'll understand what are the things that show you to be nervous or not relaxed or not confident. Because again, what is good body language? Relaxed and confident. Now, I want to give you this list, but I'm going to give you a huge asterisk, a huge warning on this list. And this comes from a story. Way, way, way back in the day, in my early days as a dating coach, I used to teach programs where we would go through roughly a list of these bad body language traits. And we'd list them off to guys. Don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. Right at the start of a live program, right before we would go out and talk to a bunch of girls. And we'd give them all the things not to do, and it would make them nervous, it would make them uptight, it would put them in their heads, and then they would go out and do all of the things we just told them not to do. Because each of these behaviors isn't happening by itself. It's a manifestation of nervousness and insecurity. So when you're feeling nervous and insecure, you're likely to do these things, okay? So I'm giving you this list so that if you notice yourself doing it, you can make light corrections, not so you can beat yourself over the head and hate yourself for it. Okay, that's number one, and not to make you insecure. So I want you to understand this list, but I don't want you to overthink it. And know that if you are in fact calm and relaxed, but doing one of these bad body language traits while calm and relaxed, you'll usually generally get away with it. Whereas if you are nervous and tense while doing what is technically considered good body language in terms of how your arms are positioned or something, you're still going to look nervous and tense, and it's going to be effectively bad body language. So again, remember, what is all good body language? Is conveying calm, confident, relaxed. Okay, if you are that, you'll get away with doing specific things wrong. If you aren't that, you won't. Conversely, just to make this point, later on, we taught the same kind of program. And instead of telling the guys all the different things not to do, we told them a bunch of mindsets to make them feel more confident. And then without even telling them the body language, they would go out and exhibit much better body language than before. Okay, so understand you do want to know this list. You do want to understand these concepts, but you don't want to overthink it. All right. Every bit of good body language is a reflection of your internal state of being, your internal emotions about the situation. If you get those right, you'll mostly have your body language dialed in. Bad body language trait number 1, Tyrannosaurus Rex arms. You're nervous, you're tense, you're trying not to take up space, and you're actually holding a lot of tension through your triceps and shoulders, and you're up here. The proper way, if you're in a bar or a club to hold a drink, is down lower, more relaxed, more chill, effortless, all right? It looks more relaxed. It looks more how you would if you were not so damn tense. Bad body language trait number 2. We call this one pecking. Basically, this means every single time when a girl talks, you immediately lean in to listen to her, lean in to listen to her. And every time you go to talk, you're like leaning in to talk to her. It's this like quick, sharp, leaning in sort of a thing going on. If you have good vocal projection, you don't need to lean in to talk in most environments. In very loud clubs, you may need to, but in general, sit back and use your voice instead of leaning in and pecking to hear the girl. If the girl is, saying things too quietly for you to hear, yes, you can lean in, but don't lean in like this over and over again. Be confident. Pull her over, pull her to your ear, lean in slowly. Just be a little more relaxed about the whole thing. If you are going to lean in to be heard yourself in a very loud environment, take advantage of that and like put your arm around the girl, lean in close. And you can even kind of stay leaned in or stay in a hugging or cuddling posture almost in a lot of cases. But this constant like leaning in, it looks very, very like uptight and nervous. And especially the amount of time between when she finishes her sentence and you start yours, if that's instant every time, it shows that you're way too into the conversation, right? If a girl asks for your attention, like, oh, hey, excuse me, what? That is nervous and needy. If the girl asks for your attention, you're like, sorry, were you saying something? That's a lot more relaxed, a lot more cool, a lot more aloof, and that's going to be a much more high value way to interact. Next bad body language trait that I see all the time for guys. Girls sitting down, and what they will do is they will squat down and like sit in a squatting position in front of the girl while talking to her. Some of you may be really flexible and athletic, but for most of us, that's a physically difficult position to hold. And so you see guys there with their legs shaking and they have to put their hands on the ground to hold themselves and stuff like putting their hands on the ground in like a dirty bar to hold themselves up, that kind of stuff. Assuming postures that you would not assume with your friends, assuming postures that are inherently very unrelaxed and uncomfortable for you in order to be close to the girl is a poor body language gesture. I even see guys go further with this one. I've seen guys like kneel down in the club, like even like kneel down on like grimy club floors with like almost like they're proposing to the girl. Don't do that either. Again, here, what do you want to do? If you can be loud enough and project your voice, be loud, keep your posture, etc. If not, go ahead and sit down with her. You would like to sit down with her anyway. And you know what? Sometimes you'll be like, hey, scoot over, and even sit down that way if you need to. But again, act the way you would among friends if you are comfortable. If you were talking to friends, would you kneel down to talk to them, to get down to the level and be like, hey, no, scoot over? Or you'd sit on the back of the chair, or you'd lean against the chair, or something like that. You would not do that with your good friends. You should not do that with a girl you just met. So quick reminder on all these, when you are bending over backwards for the girl, metaphorically, if not literally, you're conveying an inner state of neediness, an inner state of being too reactive to the girl. And that's what makes these body language traits bad. Next major bad body language sign I see all the time, I call this like presenter mode or TV host mode, like trying to show everything and demonstrate everything and talk with your hands a ton all the time like this. It just shows a state of internal nervousness, too much energy, too much going on, right? Relax, chill. Give you guys a little cheat code for if you want to have just good enough body language very easily, a nice posture you can adopt. I don't do this that much now, but when I was first learning game, I did this a lot, which is just put your hands, if you're wearing jeans, in your back pockets and just relax. It almost forces good posture. It forces you to stand up straight and put your shoulders back, and it forces you not to be all over the place with your hands because your hands are busy back here in your pockets. It's also a posture of sort of comfort. You're not putting your hands out like you're trying to stop anything. You're relaxed and chill. You're sort of like in a sort of a vulnerable posture in a way, and that your midsection is exposed. So it actually shows a decent amount of confidence. Now, that said, You will want to talk with your hands at certain times. And so just keeping your hands in your pockets is taking away a useful critical tool. Also, you'll want to touch the girl at various times. So never, taking your hands out of the pockets is a problem for that reason. But in terms of a good relaxed posture that kind of forces you to stand up straight, it forces you to look good, it forces you to be relaxed and not use your hands too much, a nice default is something along the lines of this. When it comes to facial expression, there are two major ones I see all the time, and they both are in the category of being too accommodating. The first is nodding at everything. Yeah. That one is like clearly being too reactive, being too agreeable, etc. The other one is being too smiley. We call this one the 40-year-old virgin face because of this look right here. But basically being too easy to win over, being too into everything, being too smiley and accommodating and nice, right? Attractive guys are nice when they want to be, but they're not nice because they have to be. They're nice by choice. And if your default expression always is a big accommodating smile, you look like you're either low value and way too nice, or you're, there as to serve in some way, like you're part of the wait staff or something like that. You're like, sir, can I get you anything? You don't need to be that reactive. How would you act around your friends who see you as a valuable person and who are going out of their way to please you? So this is just a short list. Obviously, some body language traits, some facial traits, etc. There are obviously tons more, but they're all coming from that same place. They're coming from insecurity. Either you're not taking up enough space or you're trying way too hard and doing too much. One way or the other, that's going to be the constant theme. The final thing I want to talk to you about in terms of body language, and this is a really critical one, is eye contact. All right, eye contact gets talked about a lot in game. So when do you want to use it? When do you not want to use it? How do you want to use it? How can you misuse it? Eye contact is extremely powerful for conveying a message. So you want to use it at points of emphasis in the interaction. Girl gives you a shit test. If you look away or flinch or seem nervous, you're going to fail the shit test, even if you have a good answer. However, she gives you the shit test and you just look at her with like a kind of a smirk on your face and hold steady eye contact. Even if you don't have an answer right away, the fact that you're not flinching and not reactive means you've at least not failed the shit test. So that's critical. Say you're going to kiss the girl and you want to build some sexual tension. Holding eye contact, building some tension, thinking sexual thoughts so that they're being conveyed through your eyes in that moment. Very, very useful, very, very powerful in that specific moment. However, a lot of guys go wrong by turning game into essentially a staring contest. Eye contact is communication. It's meant to emphasize points. It's not meant to be a creepy stare that goes for 3 hours straight and never breaks. So use it wisely and use it powerfully. And in fact, looking away can be powerful as well. So a lot of times when I'm just having a normal conversation with the girl, I may be like kind of aloof, looking away, looking around. And then when I want to make a serious point with the girl, I'll focus in, really have some tension, have some more of a dynamic with the girl. And then afterwards, I relax, I look away, etc. Also, with regards to eye contact, if you are escalating logistics or suggesting a plan, making it super intense, we're going to go to this place and do this, puts a lot of pressure on it. Whereas on the other hand, like, yeah, we could go over there. Yeah, I think that'd be good. Yeah. And then in that moment of decision though, you look back with confidence, right? So again, eye contact is used to make a point. Eye contact is used as communication. Eye contact is not used to make things into a staring contest. If you just stare at the girl all the time, you're just going to make her uncomfortable. So obviously that's just a short list of body language traits. There's an infinite number of things you could do with your body, many of them good and many of them bad. But what is the theme? The traits that convey confidence, relaxation, the way you would be around your friends or around a girl who you know likes you are typically going to be good, whereas behaviors that you would use in a situation where you feel low value or nervous are typically going to be not so good, right? Those are going to be the low value behaviors. That's the trend you're going to see throughout. Now, I want to end with something I said before, which is absolutely critical, and it's a warning. While I do want you to be aware of good and bad body language, I don't want you to overthink it. It's very easy to micromanage and try and be perfect with this. Do not fall into that trap. Good enough is good enough, and overthinking your body language is going to put you in an insecure place, put you in your head, and actually lead to more bad body language. So let it be good enough. If you catch yourself doing a bad body language trait, go ahead and correct it. Like you catch yourself doing T-Rex arms, put your drink down. Not a big deal, but don't kick yourself over it and don't be like, oh my God, she saw me doing the bad body language. Now she doesn't like me. Now I did it. And you're only going to lead to more bad body language. No, it's fine, right? You're like this, oh shit, yeah, I could relax, right? Stretch it out and then continue with your interaction, continue having fun. And again, bad body language, as in like a bad position of an arm, is not going to matter if your overall conveyance is one of positivity and confidence. And great posture, you know, good whatever, is not going to help you if everything's tense and nervous and you're talking like this. And your overall conveyance matters more than any one trait. Don't overthink these things. Obviously be aware of them, but the most important thing is what you believe, because what you believe about yourself and what you believe about the interaction is being carried through in your body language at all times. Be sure to put your comments about body language, eye contact, or any of the topics in this video below, and be sure and like and subscribe. See you on the next video.